My name is Arja Martikainen. I've been in industry since 2004. Maybe you are much younger generation, so you do not exactly know me. But I can tell you that I've been flirting with gaming industry without even understanding it since the 90s. And I, for example, met Mr. Ilari Kuittinen back in the day at the Joensuu University campus when he was still like having like beautiful hair, and he was very dynamic person. And now he's director of Housemark, has a longest history as a founder. And then later on, I met some people. Like I was, for example, dating with the guy who had a fan club at the end of 80s in the US. He was doing this like very funny vector shooter, and I was like, you're talking to your fans in the middle of the night, like, right? And then I've been always a gamer in a way that I've been playing chess and poker, and my father bought the first consoles whatsoever, like these ping pong games for black and white TV and Donkey Kongs, and I've been playing Doom and so forth. Then studied social sciences, Finland and France, and then I had a dream that, it would be lovely to work in tech somehow, because I wasn't afraid of computers. You know, I'm so old that I remember Nokia 101, Commodore 64. Actually, that's one of the devices that we used to do our IT or computer driving license back in school. So I've been programming BASIC back in the day, and then how I ended up to gaming industry. I came back from France '96, and then I was looking at it. There is this Nokia thing happening here, and but I'm a social scientist. I have a politics degree, and how do I get there? Now there came this company called Andersen Consulting that was looking for an assistant to their Nokia project. So I went there. That's great. I got a job as a project assistant at Nokia. Then I realized a little bit later that this Accenture is also like this Andersen Consulting. Now it's Accenture. It's quite a big company, and that's my story. How I ended up to technology with the background of social scientist. And then a few years passed. I went through new media company, then integration company. A lot of happenings in the tech industry, and 2004 I ended up to a small gaming company called Sumea Interactive. And Sumea Interactive had just got massive $40 million fund from US from a guy called Trip Hawkins. And if you have ever checked the history of gaming industry, Trip Hawkins was the guy who found EA. And he was also the first marketing director of Apple Computer, so working with Steve Jobs. And fast forward, the company became Digital Chocolate. That was at the time the most beautiful and most international Finnish, American, Spanish, Mexican, Indian, just name it, gaming company. We were like 400 people all around the world. And then later on, fast forward, people started leaving, some things happened. Some people went to, found this small kiosk called Supercell. Somebody went to Omniata. There are many, many companies that basically are a spin-off from Digital Chocolate. So, for example, Ilkka Paananen always says that Digital Chocolate was the motherlode, or it was his gaming MBA. Then I joined a company called Barona after Digital Chocolate. I was their first and last HR manager. And at Barona, my big dream was to help all these gaming companies. The smaller, the better, because I like startups and I like growing companies. And then 2015, a guy called Samuli Syvähuoko came to talk to me that, hey, he has this small share of investment share in the fund called Sisuvisi. So, do you have any extra money? Do you want to join? No, I was one of the friends and fools, not family, but friends and fools that decided to invest, and I've been a gaming investor also ever since. And I follow and I serve some of the companies of Sisuvisi. So that's my story. But basically, I do really raw, hands-on headhunting and recruiting to tech. So anything from testers to architects and so forth, and every now and then gaming. And then I can't resist Oleg when he calls me that says, I come to talk to some candidates again. I come because I believe that every time when I talk to people here, something good comes up. So I meet people and then I met this person back in 2018. Now he is working for one of the best places. Yeah, there was something special in him or her.
Yes, thank you very much, Arja. So yeah, from my side, as I said, I know Arja a long time ago. She was one who helped me with the very first 2018 Games of Fair. It was back in St. Petersburg, I believe. So we did a lot of traveling together. But yeah, I run the company called Games Factory Talents, and yeah, I'm a headhunter as well. So, and most of the things that I enjoy is connecting people. Because I did work for Nokia, I cannot use this connecting people like as a slogan, but somebody called me like a Mr. Do you know somebody? So it's the companies come to me and ask that, hey, do you know this kind of people? So it starts to be, so I feel that I'm becoming more like Oleg matchmaker. So I enjoy matchmaking people, and I see that many times I matchmake for the jobs, getting paid by the companies for this. This is how I make my living, but also I do matchmake people for like new business opportunities, and my industry has been games industry and creative industry close by. But what we wanted to talk today is that this is a great opportunity for you to also ask questions. So we have half an hour. I'm gonna be asking Arja some questions and then also giving my own thoughts because I am part of the industry, has been doing this for over 6 years. So Arja, what do you think? My first question: what's really going on behind the scenes, and what are some trends you see now in hiring in the industry and specifically in Finland?
So what is going behind the scenes? Okay, I know that you are posing me very difficult questions, so I had to keep my own introduction very long. But what is going behind the scenes? There are really interesting new technologies picking up. For example, I saw an attempt of turning your regular TV in your living room as a gaming device, so you do not need to purchase any consoles anymore. I would love it. I'm more like a mobile gamer or similar, and we had all these gaming consoles back in the day, but I would love to use my TV a bit more efficiently. So that is one of the things that is happening. Then AI is coming, and that is unfortunately also it may mean that there is much less hands needed, but then it also basically makes does it so that there are people that know how to utilize AI, and a lot of people there in the middle that or then underneath that do not know. So I would say that you should really pay attention to what is going on in the industry. Either you are super good in your job and also understand about the latest of the latest, or then you are out of job.
Yes, from my side, just gonna add here that I see the AI trends, and I tell you behind the scenes, I have a new customer, and I just spoke to the CEO actually 2 days ago, and she, you know what she told me? She said that I spent last night actually working with ChatGPT, and I dropped all of our data from the game, the trends and everything, and I've been harassing ChatGPT the whole night, and I got the predictions and everything, the modeling. And she said that I realized that I have actually 2 data engineers on my team, but I can do this job better with AI. So what she asked me, she said that, look, I need somebody who is maybe not that much data engineer as such, but somebody who can ask right questions from ChatGPT. So I'm about to start the search for somebody who is skilled in AI and understand the data science. I think it speaks for itself, right? It's a CEO of a company of about 60, 70 people working in a very competitive match 3 industry, in the game industry. So you can imagine, so just complementing Arja's word, we can resist this AI, we can decline it, but it's there. If the CEO of the company is asking to find her somebody who can use AI to do the work, to ask the right questions from the AI, that speaks for itself. So basically, I just complimented the words. You want to get a job in the industry, you must master it. It doesn't matter. You cannot resist it. You can resist it, but then I think you will be out of job. Or the people who are employed today and don't jump on that trend, I think that they're going to be also out of the market very soon. And then they're going to be back once they learn it. You have to master it today. I feel it's just a must.
But still, I believe in this originality and skills of like art skills and such. I don't really like these AI-made animations because it's not real. I think that there has to be always a market for like real drawing skills and such. So please keep on doing whatever you are doing. And then also to games, people that are dreaming of gaming industry as such, like becoming an artist or any of these traditional jobs, I always suggest that, hey, please look around, because I see a huge circle around gaming, also in the so-called utility apps. Anything gamified, utility apps, like it can come from music or from sports or anything that helps people in their daily life. And they use the same technologies, and you do not lose any time, even if you join some of these companies, so that like you can go back and forth. And also like traditional tech jobs. It benefits if you take a jump every now and then for a few years to that side if you do not find jobs in gaming. But like if gaming is in your heart, you can always return. But it may be that you need to do these moves between industries. But there is a lot of different types of industries and businesses to look at, and you can use the same skills that you gain while you are studying, like becoming games developer.
Yes, to complement it, we have a musician who is hosting the after party. I know that it's booked out, but Liz is going to be here, so I'm sure you're going to talk to him. Maybe you can talk to him into letting you in. But anyway, they are looking, they're not the games industry company, they don't develop games, they're educational, like and mobile, but they're looking for new ideas, new creative people. And the reason they are hosting the after party is that they want people from the games industry to join them.
Yes.
That's a proof that the skills don't just get maybe stuck only with the game industries, only the only thing that's I think like education, and I think that the rest of the industry as well start to understand that you need to keep people engaged, because there's so many notifications. Everybody's like basically battling for your time, like screen time, right? So basically they need to make it so interesting, so appealing, so gamified to keep people engaged. So I think that more and more companies will be looking for people who can master that or help them do that, like take this from the gaming industry, because it's based on that like engagement and that people return. But these skills they are taught as of today by the other companies. So I think also don't just get stuck in the industry.
And I may be also looking for another fantastic music e-learning company, UI UX designer shortly. So I just need to agree the gig. So get to my LinkedIn network.
All right. Let us first go through the questions that I prepared, and then we will continue, ask the questions. All right. So Arja, let's move on with the recent layoffs, and we've seen it. Hopefully, there's less coming this year, but Do you think, are there any specific types of studios, AAA, indie, mobile, or roles that seem to be more resilient in the market?
No, what at least from the perspective of VC investing, they invest in those that have already something to show in the market. It's very hard to break in as a like startup that doesn't have anything to show. So the VC investors, they invest in teams that have record. So one of your strategies as a job seeker is to go and check the portfolios of VC investors. I mentioned Sisu, but then there is also Play Ventures, like local Finnish origin, attempts to fund companies. So just read what is it there, and then they are usually quite good bets, and they also look at all the technologies that are coming up. So it's not just games, but also technology. I forgot your original question, sorry about it. But
is there a specific type of companies or roles that you feel are more resilient to this layoff?
No, I don't think so. It's like anything can happen in this world. So there is no like secure job in these days. I think that the best security is insecurity. If you are like flexible, you can tolerate the insecurity and like so then and you are ready to kind of like change your tweak your own expertise and so forth, and the companies like see, and then also like you keep up your skill and so forth. So there is always every day somebody gets hired.
What do you think are the skills or rather experience that will be in high demand once the industry recovers?
Once the industry recovers, no, like we were just a minute ago talking about AI. So, but I think that those people that have genuine passion and interest and will to develop themselves to the topmost level of expertise, they will succeed.
I just wanted to say that I just had also a conversation with one of my clients, and he said that he interviewed 5 candidates that I submitted to him. And we had that conversation, and he said that I really like that girl and everything, but she didn't even like install the game. She didn't even play it, you know. And he said that this is like an indicator. But the other candidates who maybe were less skilled based on or maybe less skilled how he thought about it from the portfolio and everything. But he said that they installed the game, they played the game, and they gave me some things that made me think about. So I'm just gonna continue with these 3 who actually did play the game and everything. So just as a reminder, because I've also seen, I understand what the industry is going through, and you probably have sent a lot of like applications, but I also feel that you should somehow track it, because I've also had that negative conversation with the candidate who showed up for an interview, and then what was that company I'm interviewed for, and that's like a red flag. Like absolutely, you have to you have to now go extra mile. Let's put it this way. I think the industry is
and then the extra mile means that also you develop yourself like this really hard skills. For example, if you want to be a designer, think what is one of the most difficult thing to do as a designer. No, it's of course monetization. I just pushed to a client one of the like candidates that I knew. I said that like they didn't even look at the CVs first, and they were planning to hire to another country. And then I told them, hey, there is this guy who has done exactly this monetization part. So aren't you going to even look at his CV? And now they are interviewing him. So like there are certain disciplines that are sought after all through Europe, for example, and now they are ready to move the job back to Finland, or like just choose Finland instead of another country because there is somebody who has a rare skill. Then I think I spoke with some people that, for example, like instead of trying to figure out like how do you become straight ahead of game designer, think based on your own like professional background. So, for example, if you are a programmer, now what is the very sought after profile in gaming that no programmer wants to do? Of course, UI programming or something similar. So if you say that, okay, I'm ready to do this, it is more likely opening you the door because it's hard. It's not that, like, it may be annoying, but the good point, for example, in that profession is that you will see many projects because you are needed in a company in certain phase of the production. So you could figure out some sort of like special twist that you can do, and that's your marketing points. And then what I would say is that, like, complementing Oleg's speech, 70% of the candidates to gaming industry are wannabes. People that just like try to scratch, like, if I could get in. 70%, like, one of the biggest jobs of games recruiter is to wipe out that 70% of wannabes. You need to be in that 30%, or more likely in that 5% that gets, for example, invitation to test. Never ever miss a test task if you get a test task. Because I've seen cases that there were 100 candidates. We sent them a test task because we didn't know exactly what is it like. We were looking for specific kind of like thinking of what's going on. That was actually product position. 50% of them never ever returned the test task. Then we started to look of this remaining 50 people who gets further. And then if you do a very nice test task or like art sample to some testing phase, use it as a part of your portfolio. So you learn of these opportunities every time.
For someone who's recently been laid off, what are the 2-3 things you could suggest them to do to get back to the game?
Very often I see fairly poorly done groundwork when it comes to LinkedIn. People haven't been taking care of their portfolio. They don't have the necessarily keywords in LinkedIn, for example. For example, in art stuff, like when I'm looking for developers, I always I check through LinkedIn or similar type of like general networks that do I find names that have, for example, this type of title or this type of doing. And then based on that, I always, for example, if there's a question of artist, I go and look for, okay, portfolio XX. Do I find a portfolio? And usually I get somewhere from these services, I find the portfolio. Okay, this looks interesting. But if you give the information straight ahead there, it makes my life so much easier. And also, like I was helping last year Mainframe Industries as their internal TA. We were basically looking at the portfolio first, when it was like looked approximately what they were looking for. Then we had to look at the CV. It goes also that way around, and so pay attention to how do you word your experience and so forth, and that everything. If you are in design business, you need to have clear and nice and very informative design, like in your like the documents that you are using when you apply. And then there are many ways of getting to know the people. Like here, you can come to talk to people, get connections, IGDA, all these hackathons, and it's good to keep up these type of connections also if you are employed. Go through your old schoolmates if you have been in these type of design schools, and just be nice to each other and try to help. So if it's not your cup of tea, don't try to get in yourself necessarily, but like say that, hey, I have a friend who can do exactly that. And I'm like, your friend is happy, me is happy, the company is happy, and then good thing, because good things come back always.
That was my next question. In the current state of the industry, what's your take on applying cold versus like networking your way in? Like applying traditional way, or would you rather recommend in the current market to like network in, like to get?
I would say both ways, but networking is good. And then I know that like when I was like, for example, last year I was reading like massive number of open applications to this my client company. Very often we actually pick anybody from open applications, but sometimes there is something that may be useful in the future. But if you see a job posting, try to kind of like, even with the help of ChatGPT, check through that does your profile fit, and then apply. Don't like just shoot all over, because when you do it many times, recruiters start like, okay, this is again this person who is applying to everything possible. Just try to target and think, and don't just let the ChatGPT or some AI tool to design your application. Write it yourself in good English or in good Finnish or in any language. Write it yourself, because I just like heard from my colleague that they got 5 exactly similar introductions to a job done by AI.
Yeah, you can really spot it.
Yes, you can really spot it. Don't be one of those. Just be original, be yourself. Originality is actually getting much hotter these days.
Yeah. And another thing, please don't do it to recruiters. Don't send, like I get these messages. I'm this kind of person. Do you have something for me? Look, you want to find a job, right? You can come to my profile. You can see the roles I'm hiring for, right? You can go to my website. You can see the current roles I'm hiring for. Send your application and then come to me and say that, Oleg, I met you, like whatever you want to do, and just say that, hey, I just submitted my application. I think I'm a good fit. Could you please take a look at my profile and let me know? I'm going to do it. But if you just drop it to me and say that, hey, do you have a job for me? I'm not going to do it. It's your, like I'm sorry to say, but I just get these messages and I'm not even reading, because it's so personally frustrating that somebody, you want to get a job and you want me to go and find you that job. Go, it's very easy. All my jobs, like on my profiles, everything on the website. I recommend don't offend recruiters, because they're gonna blacklist you or something like that next time. Just go check it out, apply, send your application, and then drop me a note. Hey, can you give me like, I just applied, can you have a look? Those requests I usually respond. I go, it's very easy. I see the name, okay, Katri, I just go, I open it up, I see it, and I said, Katri, I'm gonna maybe show it to my client, or I'm gonna like come back to you, or look, I have great candidates already going forward, so let's come back to this like later. This I can do, but hey, here's my CV, go find me a job. Don't do it, please.
Especially if there's nothing in it, nothing interesting in it. Like, yeah, but I like to chat with people. I just like give a like quick call sometimes, and I just like ask a couple of funny questions, so like, and people try to reply to me. But at least there is a connection. I like getting connected at LinkedIn, and then if I meet people like in these events, so I usually remember, I see that, okay, we got connected 2016 somewhere, August, or September. There must have been Pocket Gamer. And then I use this trick to approach you when I'm headhunting. Hey, we must know each other from somewhere. And then nobody remembers where we met. But then it kind of like feels like, okay, we have some connection, but we just do not remember where it happened.
Yeah. Time is running out. I just thought that maybe you have questions. Let's start with the question, because I think we can go on and on like that. Yes.
Today was a lot of talk about AI, and that in future experts who can use AI will be in line. My question is how to measure your expertise of using AI, and how do you train?
Very good question. I don't know.
I think AI, and based on like what I see happening in our company at Varona, is that we are still on the baby steps of utilizing it, and basically nobody really knows exactly what you can do, how does it show like in a few years' time. But what I've understood, the point is that you learn and you know to find the questions to which you can find an answer much quicker than just browsing or Googling. And then also that you deliver a solution to a problem. At the shortest, it can be anything like in, for example, let's say, for example, bills handling in a company, that there is quicker matchmaking, and then you put some sort of like low code thing in between, and certain thing like you just basically go and automate that problem that used to need a lot of hands. So we have been able to reduce from, for example, 4 hands, like 4 people to 2 people, just by automating certain piece of process.
I just want to say that it was a joke. I don't know. I was hiring for the company that is doing something using in the AI. For instance, I was looking for a developer who is very fluent with the GitHub. What is it? Is it not the mentor, but like on GitHub they have this. What was that? Who is the developer here? Who knows? Yeah, Copilot. So, for instance, GitHub Copilot was a requirement. So they wanted somebody who is not gonna come and do the traditional development. They wanted somebody who is fluent with the Copilot. So somebody who can code 15 at least percent like faster. That is one thing already like practical, like in practical terms. And then you can also write there like prompting or something like that. And these tools usually like this Copilot, I know some solutions they're called like Mentor and things like that. So I think it's important. Plus, it's like you can also get the certification, right? Like AI certified, or you understand how it works and everything. So in my opinion, having that on the resume will be one thing. Like
Yeah, and anyway, it's like start to follow what's going on. So, and the point is to bring a solution, make things faster, and so forth. But it also like you shouldn't be afraid of it. It may liberate us time to do something else. And the point is how to monetize this type of phenomenon in a way that it serves you, and you are not kind of like run over.
yeah.
Traditional CV versus machine readable.
We are just about to take a new system in use, and I think that the system reads any CV there is as long as the keywords and the information is there. Any document, you do not need to play with that much. I think that the biggest mistake that the company can do is to basically put people to fill in these old-fashioned kind of like questions. What is the level of your Java? but anyway, because the new latest systems can read quite a lot based on your information. But they're like what I recommend is that keywords, substance, you have those there somewhere, and then if there are links, for example, to your LinkedIn or such, so the latest systems can basically gather together a lot of information from you from these sources.
Just like Oleg just introduced, the LinkedIn page is really important, but why is next time of the job apply, it still ask another CV to attach? What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was just saying that from my side, whenever I get like any incoming applications, I do check first, like a LinkedIn. That's maybe my way of working, and I think I trained the team to do the same because it's just easier to see like everything in one go, and then I would go and dig deeper. I think that. To be honest, with the upcoming like AI and everything, I think this CVs it will be like less and less important. I feel that maybe LinkedIn, it's just behind the wall, so not all this ChatGPT can read this. So maybe it's not yet there. Maybe they have the reason for it, but it's the same thing, right? You can like people that I hired now. Okay, they are very senior people. Usually they just download the CV from LinkedIn and send it if the customer like required, or actually I do it on their behalf, so to say. So in that way, I can't say like from my side. We have a very old system that we're using to store the CVs and everything. So first, for me personally, my personal preference is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I can't say for all the recruiters, so maybe Ari has a different opinion.
Many of my customers are 50 plus, so they like to read CVs and they like to read motivation letters, and I think that what you get from LinkedIn is the same. Everything looks the same, but like if you have like very nicely put CV, that's kind of like your visiting card. So, but choose yourself. There were many questions there.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, say.
Yeah, how to set yourself apart from the wannabes?
No prior, like the fine line goes that you have no hobby against gaming whatsoever.
Against?
No, you do not have any interest like of games whatsoever. So like there is a guy who just moved to run the Supercell London office. He once taught me that if the CV doesn't have the word game, it goes straight to Mappiö. It goes straight to trash bin. This is the first thing. Make sure that it contains word game.
Right.
And then the best way of gaining the kind of like, unless you are a server programmer, the best of the best, or accountant, but also accountant needs to like games because working in a gaming company, it's so overwhelming. It's all about games. So that you can gain kind of like the net. You can start like showing interest by gathering like these contacts, going to these hackathons, going to game jams, just like the basic interest or like as a hobby. It starts from there. And then very often I look deep in the eye and see, like, ask that, do you really want to do this?
So that's about passion then.
Yeah, the passion is like, it's a little bit vague, but there has to be some sort of like that it fires you up.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
There was a question over there, I saw. Yes, please.
You say originality is rare these days, but then endorse AI, which uses stolen content to make amalgamations. What's your opinion on that?
No likey. I still believe in people, and I still believe that people have their own mind and their own specialty, originality. Games industry is loaded with people that have character and will and thoughts. Yeah.
Just that there's also more than just art that's like writing. The fact that using ChatGPT for writing something, which is still an art form.
Yeah, you can maybe use it to kind of like gather ideas what you could like write, but then make it your own. So it's like sometimes they say that you need to learn the rules, but learn the rules in order to bend it.
Yeah, I see the question over there.
Hi, my name is Aubrey. In the same vein of AI, is there a best practice to highlight or demonstrate your proficiency in AI that companies look for, maybe a specific certification, or if we're balancing the lines between creativity and
I would say, as I said, I just was hiring a developer whose requirement was to be proficient with the GitHub this Copilot. So, but I think that the certification is like, if you ask me, I think it's my opinion maybe. I don't know yet, to be honest, but I think it needs to be reflected somehow.
specifically if you're not a developer, if you have soft skills like marketing, sales, like those types of things, these are something that I know that gaming is kind of a pivot if you're not a developer, if you're not, proficient in technology in that way, but there are plenty of soft skills that, go into gaming as well. Is there something on that side that also translates to show, hey, I can ask ChatGPT perplexity, the journey, the right prompts, the right questions, and use it creatively. There's something that like to check out this.
Yeah, I think that go for that. Like in any discipline, there must be some ways of utilizing it. Like what I see in data, for example, or like marketing data and that type, like all these tools. Everybody has these days the same tools in use. So basically, everybody's shopping the same customer base or the cake there with the same tools. Everything is kind of saturated. So, but then I think outside of that, you need to have still skills to think outside of the box and figure out new ways of going around. Human mind is so beautiful in that sense that we always find a way to go around. But of course, up till you get there, up till you manage all these, so use any tool there is. And I can still say that we are still on the baby steps. There is still space to learn. And if there is such some sort of basic certificate that I've seen a tool, I see in ChatGPT, I'm using Copilot. No, well, put it there, but it's not yet the answer. It's just the start. It's the first scratch. Don't be worried about it. We'll see.
All right, maybe one more question and then please.
My question is, at what point do you choose between an AI developer or a normal developer? If you already are proficient, you experience in your job that you can efficiently do without any hassle, does the AI just add on top, or do you just specifically look for someone who is very proficient in AI and then learns the soft skill and hard skill on top of it? Because from what I know, games have been made since the 90s and they still earn money then. There was no AI. They're still making games now without AI and they're still earning money. So where does that go?
So look, the reference that I had, it was just the AI startup, all right, that used Unity to build the core and the logic and everything. And just because they needed people who believe into it, who are proficient, who have been experimenting and using it. So as a traditional Unity developer, you wouldn't fit just because maybe you don't have that passion. So they only needed people who are on the verge of this one. So this is just an example that I used. So to answer your question. I don't know what requirement there will be with in terms of software development, to be honest. It was just an idea and the trend, right? After talking to the CEO, I feel now she looks for somebody who understands data science, but she doesn't need a data scientist in the old-fashioned way. She already has two, and now she needs somebody who can write, understand, and write the right questions.
And then also there is a difference. For example, there are Unity developers, for example, and Unity developers. There is this people that only can do a game with the Unity. But if you want to do a high-end game, you, for example, need to be capable of programming something inside there. I think you need to know the tool, but I see that AI would be just another Unity type of tool on top. But if you have still the traditional skill, developer skill, that is a very hot combination. At least for a certain period of time towards the future. So.
Hey, I want to thank everyone for this, and the most interesting part is coming because now I need to go clean up the tables together with my volunteers. The companies are here, so we have another 25 minutes. If you want to break for lunch, grab something, please do. So we will finish the sessions. At 12:30, what's going to be happening next is that now the companies will get their stands, get the roll-ups, get ready to meet you, and then they will come here on stage, and each of them will have about 10 minutes to tell about themselves, what kind of roles they're hiring, what kind of projects they're working on. So it will be happening, so please be back at 12:30. Well, you don't have to leave if you don't, but see you later.